Hi guys, so today we are going to be looking at the names of the elements that are in the periodic table, and we are going to explore the naming with the symbols. How did these symbols evolve? So there is reasoning behind it that none of these elements ever got discovered in a chronological order. So some got discovered earlier than the others, and so at whatever time period and whosoever discovered them, based on that, these elements got their names and the symbols. So these elements were named after certain people, were named after certain places, certain astronomical objects, and certain minerals. So let's look at what elements in the periodic table were named after some people. So for example, we're going to look at what their name is and what their symbol is. So for example, we have Mendelevium. So Mendelevium, Mendelevium. So that is the name of Mendeleev, who had put the periodic table for us. So his symbol, the symbol of this element is MD. So why MD? Because it just kind of, when you speak out loud, I highly recommend that when you're learning the names and the symbols, you just shut yourself in a room or go out into the park or somewhere and just speak out loudly, in some, isolated place, so that nobody gets disturbed when you're taking the name. You're basically practicing their names. You're learning the names and their symbols, and sometimes there's no very specific rule, why it's the third letter in the name, or why it's the second letter in the name, or why it's the first letter in the name only. So still, it's just the way sometimes the name sounds to our ears. That's how the name, we give the symbol. So Mendelevium, okay? So that's the name of a person. And again, look at this name, Nobelium, Nobelium, Nobelium. And here the symbol is NO. So here the first two letters. So in this case, we have N and O. So Nobelium. So it's kind of like, again, you just have to take the names and get a feel for it. Okay. Next is, for example, you have another name such as Rutherfordium. Rutherfordium, Rutherfordium. Okay, so Rutherfordium. So so the name here is R and F. So if you look at this name here, again, the first letter, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sixth letter. Okay, so Rutherfordium again. So there's no rule, but just the name, the way the names are, they sound to the ear, you give that name. Okay, next comes the name of, let us say, Seaborgium. Again, these are the scientists, we have named the elements after them. So Seaborgium. So again, it's very interesting. If you look at Seaborgium, Seaborgium is the first letter and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see that? Sixth letter. So SG. And here, SG, Seaborgium. So it's kind of like, the uniqueness in the name. All right. Let's look at maybe another one. Interesting is Einsteinium. So Einsteinium is EINSTEINIUM. And so why you need to know the full name and the symbol both, because you will be writing not only the formulas of the compound, which are based upon the symbols, but you're also going to be writing the names of the symbol. So it's very important that you understand, not only just the symbols, but at the same time, the spellings of their names. You don't want to mess up with their spellings, because then the name goes wrong. So spelling the names, okay? So Einsteinium. So Einsteinium would be ESE. So again, no hard and fast rule, which element are we, which letter are we choosing, but it's just the way it kind of sounds to the ear, and it comes through practice. So just like you learn the names of the people and you kind of like, you know, get to know them, then and same thing, you will have to, you know, speak these elements names and their symbols loudly to get a feel for it. Okay, next is, let's look at some of the places. So some of the interesting places: Americium. Americium, again, Americium, Americium, Americium. Okay, and the name symbol would be AM. Okay, and so we are looking at the first two letters. Okay, Americium. Again, let's look at, for example, Berkelium. Berkelium, 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 and the symbol is BK. BK is B, the first one, and then the fourth letter. Okay, Berkelium. Then comes the another place, Californium, Californium, and the symbol is CF. CF, very interesting. So here's the first letter and 1, 2, 3, fourth letter, CF, Californium. Besides that, there are other ones like Francium and Europium. So Francium is, let's get Francium. Francium is FR. Francium is FRANCIUM. Francium, and it's F and R. Okay, F and R. F, first two letters, and R, Francium. Then comes, let's say, another one, Germanium, GERMANIUM. Germanium. Germanium is after Germany, and the symbol is GE. You know, first two letters. So first two letters right here. Okay. And so again, like for example, you know, like these elements, again, there's no hard and fast rule why for California it is CF and not CA, but for francium and germanium we have FR and GE. Why? Because californium got discovered much later than another element that had already gotten the symbol, which is calcium, and that already had a CA. So that's why we had to look at some other element, you know, some other letter in the name to, you know, give a name to California. Okay. Besides that, so these are the names of behind the people. These are just some of the examples I'm giving you. So these are just the names after the people. These are the names after the places. Let's do a few more places. For example, you have Europium, francium, germanium. Let's look at Europium. Europium is EUROPIUM. Europium, and this is E and U. Okay, Europium is E and U. So EU right here. Okay, Europium. Then comes the places. Besides that, we are going to look at some of the astronomical objects. Astronomical objects are the objects that are, you know, in the outer space. So it's always very intriguing, you know, to have some of these interesting names after the celestial bodies. So some of the astronomical objects such as the sun, the moon, the different stars, the planets in the galaxy. For example, Mercury, Venus, right? Our own Earth, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, Pluto, right? So all these, Neptune. So all these elements, then the elements that were named after these astronomical objects. For example, let's look at, for example, Mercury. So Mercury, Mercury. Excuse me. So here is Mercury, 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 and it's HG. Okay, so here the name is not matching at all with the symbol. So these names just come from the from, you know, it's a different name, it's a different name and a symbol. So sometimes we use Latin or some other language, you know, to give a name and, you know, name or a symbol. So one example is Neptunium. Neptunium is Neptunium, Neptunium, and the symbol is NP, you know, the planet Neptune. Then look at another one, such as cerium. It's a very interesting one. Cerium is cerium, C-E-R-I-U-M, cerium, and that is C-E. Okay, and here again it's the first two letters, so it's like, you know, it's in what order they came. Neptunium, MP, because, you know, and E was already taken for neon. And Neptunium was discovered much later than neon, so that's why, you know, we had to go with Neptunium as NP. All right. Then comes the last one, is the named after some of the minerals, and these minerals are like, so these are the astronomical objects. Then comes the minerals. Minerals are some of the minerals like you find in nature, some of the, you know, ores or things like some of the ores that you find in nature after some of the rocks, right? So for example, calcium, okay, calcium is Ca, and this is coming from calyx, C-A-L-X. It's a lime, like limestone. All right, so limestone, calyx. So that's where calcium got its name, Ca. So remember, Ca was already taken, therefore California, we had to give a symbol CF instead of Ca, because Ca was already taken for calcium. Okay, next is, we're going to look at another one, which is such as silicon. Silicon is S-I-L-I-C-O-N, silicon, and the symbol is Si, and this one got its name from silex. And again, it's a naturally occurring, like an ore. So we have silicon Si, and here's the Si. Then comes, for example, sodium. Now sodium is coming from soda, but the symbol is different. So here is sodium coming from soda, but a symbol is different. So this is soda here, and here we have sodium, but the name and the name and the symbols are not matching here, which is fine. So again, as we talked about, that this is coming up from some other, like, you know, source, the Latin source generally. Okay, next is like, for example, potassium. Once again, the name and the symbols don't match. So here's the potassium, and that's K, and this is again after potash, and again it's a naturally occurring element. So, naturally occurring like an ore. So we see that potassium coming from potash, but the names and symbols don't match. So some of this stuff you have no other choice, but you just have to memorize. Okay, you really have to memorize. And how do you memorize? Just like, you know, we memorize anything. We are in a habit of memorizing things. It's in daily life we memorize everything, you know. So it's just you have to, like in this case, you sometimes have to make a very dedicated effort before you start chemistry. You really need to get this thing nailed down. Name of the elements, name their symbols, and then there is so much more to it. Like, what are their charges? What are their valence electrons? How many bonds they can form? Oh, how many compounds like what kind of compounds can they form? So those things. So that's all you cannot understand chemistry until and unless you have the names and the symbols nailed down. Okay, so make sure that you focus on this concept. But at this point, we are going to look at some of the other namings. Like, for example, some of the namings are very simple, like I said, memorizing. So some of the stuff that is very simple is like, let's look at naming of, let's say, hydrogen, H-Y-D-R-O-G-E-N, hydrogen, H, oxygen, O-X-Y-G-E-N, O, nitrogen, N-I-T-R-O-G-E-N, nitrogen, sulfur, S-U-L-F-U-R, sulfur, S, phosphorus. Okay, so these are simple ones, phosphorus, P. Okay, so these guys, all of them just have, like, for example, boron, B-O-R-O-N, boron, B. Okay, then you have, like, for example, carbon. Carbon is C. Okay, like, for example, you have fluorine, F. Now keep that in mind. It sounds like fluorine, Fl, but it is still just F. Okay, so for example that. Then for example, you have a few others. Yeah, so these are just for now. This, and then we covered potassium on the other side, but that name is different. Okay, so these are the simple ones where the first letter is matches with the symbol, as you can see. Hydrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, oxygen, nitrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, sulfur, phosphorus, P, boron, B, carbon, C, fluorine, F. All right, so these are just their names that match with the first letter. You know, the first letter becomes their symbol. Next, we are going to look at some of these elements whose first two letters become their symbols. Like, for example, actinium. Actinium, A-C-T-I-N-I-U-M. Actinium, A-C. All right. Like, for example, aluminum, A-L-U-M-I-N-U-M. Aluminum. Okay, like, for example, like argon, A-R-G-O-N, argon, A-R. Like, for example, barium, B-A-R-I-U-M. I'm writing the common ones that we will be using in the course. Like, for example, beryllium, B-E-R-Y-L-L-I-U-M, beryllium, B-E. Okay, like bismuth, B-I-S-M-U-T-H, bismuth, B-I. Like, for example, bromine, B-R-O-M-I-N-E, that is B-R. Like, for example, we talked about calcium already. Then comes like cobalt, C-O-B-A-L-T, and that is cobalt, C-O. For example, you have, I'm just going through this, gallium, G-A-L-L-I-U-M is G-A, G-A, okay? Next, look at helium, H-E-L-I-U-M, helium, okay, H-E. Like, for example, you have molybdenum, M-O-L-Y-B-D-E-N-U-M, that's molybdenum, M-O, okay? For example, neon, neon is N-E-O-N, that's neon, N-E. For example, nickel, N-I-C-K-E-L is N-I, nickel. For example, you have osmium, O-S-M-I-U-M, and this is O-S, osmium. For example, you have polonium, P-O-L-O-N-I-U-M, polonium, P-O, okay? For example, you have radium, R-A-D-I-U-M is radium, okay? Then you have, let's say, rhodium, R-H-O-D-I-U-M is rhodium, R-H, okay? Then you have rubidium, not rubidium, sorry. Then you have scandium, S-C-A-D-I-U-M is scandium, S-C, okay? Then you have selenium, S-E-L-E-N-I-U-M is selenium, S-E, okay? Then you have like tantalum, tantalum, T-A-N-T-A-L-U-M is tantalum, okay? So as you have seen that their first letters, their first and second letters are their symbols. AC, Al, aluminum. Argon, Ar. Ba, barium. Beryllium, Be. Bismuth, Bi. Bromium, Br. So cobalt, Co. Gallium, Ga. Helium, He. Molybdenum, Mo. Okay. Neon, Ne. Nickel, Ni. Osmium, Os. Polonium, Po. Radium, Ra. Rhodium, Rh. Scandium, Sc. Selenium, Se. And tantalum is Ta. Okay, so these are pretty much, you know, easy to memorize. Okay, these are also easy to memorize. So memorize these. This is a very short list, so this is easy to memorize. This one, you get a feel for it when you start taking the names. Okay, so this one. Now comes the other ones, which are kind of like the weird ones. Okay, like for example, the ones that we are going to just look at these examples, which the names do not match with the symbols. So for example, you have here, let's put it here, like for example, sodium. Sodium is Na, okay? Mercury, Mercury. Mercury is Hg, okay? Silver is Ag, okay? Gold is Au, right? Tungsten, Tungsten, tungsten. Tungsten is, they haven't given, tungsten is W, okay? Tungsten is W, and you have then tungsten is W, then you have lead is Pb, okay? Then you have the tin is Sn, okay? Then you have some of the other ones is so pretty much we covered. Oh yeah, potassium, 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 K. So you see the names and the symbols are not matching. The name is sodium, Na, mercury, Hg, silver, Ag, tungsten, W, lead, tin, potassium, K. So this is, again, you have nothing but you need to memorize it. No choice here. That's the way chemistry is. Okay, so we have these different names in which the symbols do not match, and I have tried to make a comprehensive list, but I may have left out a few, and you can, like, you know, do it on your own. But pretty much, you know, this is these are just like, you know, these lists you can add on your own. Okay, so for example, some of this one over here, the first letter, so we can add, let's add some more here. Let's add some more. So we have, like, for example, iridium, krypton, lanthanum, Lanthanum, lanthanum is La, okay? Then comes the lithium, 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 Li, okay? Lutetium, you know, manganese. Then comes tellurium, Tellurium, tellurium is Te, okay? Then comes thorium, thorium, thorium is Th, okay? Then comes titanium, 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 okay? Then comes like, yeah, so these are just, again, a few of these in this list. And like I said, I may have left out a few, then you can just add on your own. But these are kind of like more commonly used ones. All right. And then similarly, in this case, we were looking at the first two letters, and this is the same thing. over here. But here I left out a few, and let's just add it because these are not mentioned. This is iodine, iodine. Iodine is just I. Vanadium, vanadium, vanadium is we. Okay. Then comes uranium, uranium, U-R-A-N-I-U-M is you. Okay. Then comes we talked about ytterbium or yttrium, sorry, yttrium, Y-T-T-R-I-U-M is equal to Y. So you see that the first letter in these cases is the first, letter that's in their names. And then comes some of the ones in which neither the first letter like is there, or like any other letter in the name could be used. So let's look at which ones are those. These are, for example, we have okay, so now we are going to look at those elements in which the first letter and some other letter in the name is used in the symbol. And these examples are, for example, you have arsenic. Arsenic is A, sorry about that. You have arsenic, A-R-S-E-N-I-C, arsenic, and the symbol is A-S. Astatine, A-S-T-A-T-I-N-E, and the symbol is A-T. Okay, then you have, for example, cesium, C-E-S-I-U-M, and the symbol is C-S. Then you have chlorine, like C-H-L-O-R-I-N-E, symbol is Cl. Chromium, C-H-R-O-M-I-U-M, symbol is Cr. Okay, then you have hafnium. Hafnium, for example, H-A-F-N-I-U-M, H-F. Okay, hafnium. For example, hassium, H-A-S-S-I-U-M, and this is H-S. Okay, so again, there is no very hard and fast rule which is going to be the second letter after the first one. So we have here the first letter, fine, A, C, 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 H, H, and all of them are starting with that first letter. But which other letter is going to be the next? In this case, it's the third one. In this case, it's the third one. In this case, it's also the third one. This is also a third one. This is also a third one. This is the third one again, and this is the third one again. But let's look at, for example, a situation with niobium. Niobium is N-I-O-B-I-U-M, and the symbol is NB. So in this case, we have the first letter, fine, but we have the fourth letter, okay? For example, palladium. Palladium is P-P-A-L-L-A-D-I-U-M, palladium, and it is PD, okay? And then it is PD, and you have your first letter, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the fifth letter, palladium. So that's why speaking these names out loud is going to give a feel, for which is the more dominant, sound in that name that kind of gives you that feeling, and that becomes the name. So look at the platinum, P-L-A-T-I-N-I-U-M, and the symbol is platinum, so you can kind of get a feel for it that it has to be a T, right? So you can see that P is here and then T. So this is like the fourth letter now, okay? Another one is like, for example, radon. It's a very interesting one, radon, R-A-D-O-N, radon, and this becomes R-N, okay? Radon, R-N, and here is your R, and this is N, okay? R and N. So the last letter in that case, interestingly, the last letter in the case of radon. Let's just do a few more, and then you can just create your own list based on that, and I highly recommend that you do. Okay, rubidium. Rubidium, R-U-B-I-D-I-U-M, rubidium, and that is R-B, right? So rubidium. So it's just like, you know, the sound, it just matter. So all of them, there is one thing common in all of them. They're all ending in the IUM sound. That's at least that's the easy part. Okay. Strontium. Look at the strontium. Strontium is Strotium. Strontium. And it's the S. Yeah, it's the S and the R. Okay, so strontium, S-R. Okay, S-R, strontium. And then comes technetium, T-E-C-H-N-E-T-I-U-M. Technetium is T-C. Okay, and that is T and C. Technetium, that tech, you know, that sound kind of, we already can figure it out. Okay, then comes the thallium, T-H-A-L-I-U-M, thallium, and that is T-L, okay, and the name is T and then L. Then comes the ytterbium, Y-T-T-E-R-B-I-U-M. Ytterbium is YB, okay? And then this is Y and B. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth letter, ytterbium, okay? And then comes last interesting one is the zinc, Z-I-N-C. And here it is Z and N, zinc, right here. Then comes zirconium. Zirconium is Z-I-R-C-O-N-I-U-M. Zirconium is Z-R. Okay, it's very expensive. Z and R. So here's the, sorry about that. Zirconium, Z, and I'm sorry, this is Z and R. And so here we have zirconium, okay, ZR. So I've tried to create this is not a comprehensive list. We have left out a few others, which I highly recommend that you put in your efforts and your time in looking at the elements, their names, and their symbols. So the best way to learn would be that you write down, just like I have written these names with my own with spelling, name, full name, and put with your pencil, not typing, pencil and pen, you know, or put it on a sheet of paper, a very traditional way, and then write down their names with a symbol. It's going to register more in the brain that way, okay? Eye-hand coordination. So you learn more that way, okay, guys? So this is the thing regarding the naming. So like I said, I've just covered just a few basic things, but you can create your own list based on that. And you can put them in the alphabetical order if that works for you, or you can put them like in the groups that I've created based on the names of the people, based on the names of the places, based on the names of the astronomical objects, based on the names of the minerals. Now, astronomical objects, you'll be left uranium, you know, you can add uranium here, but I don't have much space, but you know, here's the uranium after Uranus, very important, you know, uranium. So right here, uranium, okay? And similarly, there are others also, like astronomical objects like thorium, right? And like, I believe iridium, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so the name of a person like Laurentium, right? And yeah, so these are, so like, and then the minerals, you know, these are the commonly found like salts found in nature, ores, and then the ones you can make these lists, like here you can add a few more, like you can add some other more here, and this where only the first name is the symbol, and then the other ones in which the first two letters are the symbol, and then you can create the ones that are like there's no perfect order for them. So this way, I think it would be easier for you to memorize them. And Just say it out loud, and this is the backbone of chemistry. Trust me. Without this, there's no like if you don't get this thing nailed down, you cannot understand chemistry after this. Okay, so make sure you pay your time and your attention to it, and um, sure, if you have any other ideas, you're welcome to post your comments and let us know. Okay, so thank you for watching.